The city of New York is by far the greatest of all. New York City culture is one of relentless ambition, filled with people whose drive knows no limits, and these are their stories. This is New York City Pulse.
Hello, New York, and welcome to the very first episode of New York City Pulse, a brand new show that dives deep into the mindset of New Yorkers with relentless drive in pursuit of their ambition. And our very first guest today absolutely exemplifies this description. The man sitting next to me here is the one and only Gary Vaynerchuk, multimillionaire serial entrepreneur, media mogul, CEO of VaynerMedia, venture capitalist, and New York Times best-selling author of 4 books, soon to be 5. Gary, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. First show ever.
Yes, the very first episode.
I'm impressed with your booking ability for the first show ever.
Yeah, it took a lot of persistence, but I'm glad we made it happen.
2-second picture.
Yeah, but we're in the middle of our first show ever, and we're gonna do it. I'm gonna, guys, on the first show ever, we're gonna go improv. I don't know how polished these are gonna be in episode 2 through 1,000, but this one I'm gonna sneak a quick photo in with somebody who I just met with, and we'll be right back.
Okay, cool,
Keep them occupied.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have that ability?
No, I don't.
Good.
All right, so we met at the Aria Game Changer panel in September where Ace was the moderator.
I remember.
And since then, you've been everywhere, right? You're in Copenhagen,
Yes.
Sweden,
Yes.
you were in Singapore.
Yes.
And you're speaking everywhere. You have a book coming out next year.
I do.
And you just launched your shoes.
I did.
So that's obviously something that not everybody can do. You need a lot of ambition to be able to do that. So Gary, where does your ambition come from? What's the source? What fuels it?
Yeah, I think it's a little DNA. I think a lot of my family members have had ambition through the years. I think being an immigrant, I was born in the Soviet Union, so I didn't have much. I came here, I lived in a studio apartment, not much bigger than the office we're in right now, with multiple family members. So I think when you start from zero, when you have little, no question you can go 2 ways. You can dwell on it and complain that you have nothing and not do anything about it and think somebody owes you something, or you can get the fucking work. And so nobody ever disrespected me. Some rich guy didn't hit me by a car. Nobody laughed at me. I just have always wanted to achieve. I've always felt that I was special. That's just the truth, whether my mom tricked me or who the fuck knows why. But I've always felt it. And I think it comes from wanting to make my parents proud because I love them. My circumstance of having nothing. My natural DNA. Nobody taught me. My mom didn't encourage me, and I didn't read a book, and I didn't see anybody selling lemonade and flowers and shoveling snow and washing cars. But literally since that time I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those are the things I wanted to do. I thought it was more fun at 9 years old to walk around the neighborhood for 4 hours and wash people's cars for $5 a car. And that's just in you, right? It's always been there. I've been a salesman, I've had ambition, and then it feeds itself. As you get more success, you get more greed out of it, and it's not greed. It
becomes a game.
And it's funny. I want to take back greed because it's I don't give a fuck about the money. If you look at my tax returns, it's not that I've made a lot more over the last decade. It's that I love the game. The greed of seeing how big this can be. Having a sneaker. That's ludicrous.
See, next time somebody introduces you, they're going to have to say you're a fashion mogul too now.
Well, that's, listen, I don't think it's going to get to that because I don't think I have enough interest and I don't think I'm going to do a lot of things. I think sneaker, maybe hoodie, maybe beanie, but that would be I don't even want to do jeans. And that's basically my outfit, right? Jeans, sweater, sometimes hoodie, if I could help it, a beanie, and sneakers. And so maybe socks. I do like those too. I guess in about an hour I'll be a fashion
This is the
logo.
future of Vayner merchandise, everybody.
It's true.
So let's rewind a bit back to the beginning. You spoke about being in a studio apartment with your family members.
Yes.
Let's talk about the influence of your parents.
Yes.
How specifically did they mold you? What values did they want to instill in you at a young age?
My mom taught me kindness and do the right thing and all these really great virtuous kind of things, but also told me that nothing is handed to you, made me work, loved me unconditionally, told me I was special, told me I could, positive reinforcement, accountability when I got D's and F's, punished. So, positive reinforcement with no circumstances is fucked. You can do anything and then you do dumb shit and she says it's great, loser. And they're out there. She's saying you suck, you've lost from the get. She's saying you're awesome, and when you do something awesome like open a door for an old woman, you're awesome.
Right.
But when you get an F or you make fun of a kid, she beats your face in, she did it.
And what about your father? What did he teach you?
He taught me when I got into the business at 14. I didn't see my dad a lot because he worked all the time. But when I got into the business, he taught me that.
Right.
I was full of shit.
And what did that mean?
That meant stop being full of shit. Like when people come into the liquor
Word is
store.
bond?
Word is bond. Obviously, you know my content. That's what I usually refer to it. He taught me that, man. I was 14 years old and somebody walked in the wine store and I already knew what things we wanted to sell. And I would literally look grown-ups in the face and they would say, where's the Kendall Jackson Chardonnay? And I would say, you should buy the Kenwood. And they would look at me and I'm like, yeah, I had it. It was much better. And I mean, I looked 9. It was ludicrous, but that's how delusional I was. I thought I could convince them. He taught me that was wrong. If you had the Kenwood and you believed it was better, cool. And so I think I would have been a lot closer to the snake oil salesman than who I became if it wasn't for my dad. And as you can imagine, that makes me very thankful. And he taught me hard work, man. My dad worked every
By
minute.
setting an example.
100%. He never said anything. He just left at 7 and got home at 10.
So you didn't spend much time with him then until you were about 14 when
That's
you
right.
got into the business?
That's right.
So did that, I know you have siblings. You have
Yes.
2 younger siblings,
Yes.
is that right? So with your father's absence
Yes.
for the most of the time, did
Yes.
that force you to step up at home and take a more of
100%.
a leadership role at home?
100%. I think it's a good observation that people don't. I'm already optimistic for your show because I think that's a good observation that I don't remember a lot of people asking me. That's exactly right. I mean, me and my mom are only 20 years apart. So when I was 14, she was 34. Like, Justin, how old are you?
21.
Justin's 21, I'm 42. My mom I'm older than my mom. Like, our gap is bigger than me and my mom. And I feel like we're contemporaries. He doesn't feel like we're contemporaries, but he doesn't think I'm as old as I actually am compared to him, given like my vibe. But like, that's how my mom was, right? Like, now she was my mom, but we were like, yeah, she was 34, I was 14, and we were like, my dad wasn't around, so like, you know, I babysat the kids and I like set the tone, and like I was a leader in my house from the get, for sure.
And that definitely paved the road for you to be an effective leader leading
100%.
VaynerMedia.
100,000%. I think that's a very astute observation that a lot of people have not made.
Right. Another thing you pride yourself about is having high EQ, right?
Yes.
Does that also come from having to step up in the family?
I don't think so. I think that
No?
comes from a natural DNA, very much. But I do think it got honed when my dad and I started working together, and we would drive 40 minutes each way, and he barely talked. My dad doesn't talk a lot. So I learned how to listen. I think it was also being a salesman. You know, like, I listen by watching what people do. Like, I already know what sneakers he's wearing, right? I'm paying attention to how you're wearing your hair.
Really?
I mean, yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's different.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like Fez from the '70s show. I think it's a throwback.
Okay.
And honestly, I took note of that. I'm like, what does that mean? I like that shit. So I've learned how to listen without talking. Excuse me. I've learned how to listen without the other person talking my whole life. That's how you do sales. You know, I used to do baseball card shows. I would stand by a table. He would walk table to table to table, and he would look at my cards. He would not say anything because he's a shopper.
And you
Can I
know
help
he'd
you?
want-
I'd say, can I help you? And he'd say no. Well, I could have checked out and been lazy, but I wasn't. I would then spend my time looking at him without being creepy. I'd like kind of like look and be like, let me know if I can help you with anything. I would watch. I'd watch what he would look at. What made him buy? Why? Who? Then I'd watch him at the table if he went to the left and right, see what he did there. I learned how to, then I did retail. I stood behind a register all day and just would watch people. So I watch.
Right, but that's in-person sales, but now you're leading a much bigger company and you don't have that ability to watch other people as much
Yeah,
now,
but
so
guess what? Once you have that seed, you understand how to scale it.
got it.
You know, like, I mean, I know how to, like I know you watch behavior. I don't need to be here to know what Justin was doing for 40 days on the street. I don't need to be here to know Justin came in 10:30 yesterday, and I don't see that as the negative. I just want to put him in a position to succeed, you know? You watch in a different way. You watch, and then you take responsibility as a leader. I said that out loud. Only him and I know what I'm talking about. But it's the true answer to your question, which is I watch in a macro what they do when I give them a lot of room to do, and then I don't get mad or upset or happy or anything. I don't feel that's my job. I feel my job is to take in the data and then as a leader, put them in a position to succeed.
It's a very positive outlook to have.
Yeah, I think it is, man. I think it is, and I think a lot of good things are happening for me because of that. Because I think whether a person's mad in the short term, whether I promote them, whether I fire them, whether I advance them, whether I move them, sometimes people love it. As you notice all the things I just said. Sometimes people love it. Sometimes people hate it. I just know I'll always win in the end because I know what my intent is. Because I don't need anything from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what kind
so
of
you're always doing things from a good place.
Which is my selfish place. I'm not Mother Teresa. I think it's smart to do good, but I'm never... Here's the gear I have. Here's the part that I have that is I've figured out is a magic. Magic. No expectation of others. I do great by him. I do great by him. I do great by him. I eat his shit. I do great. I do great. I do great. Then he goes, does something good happens. He can help me, and he doesn't. For some weird reason, I don't give a fuck. And so many people get crippled. So many people do very little and expect. Like, do you know most people give with expectation?
Yes.
The fuck am I getting out of this?
Nothing. Thank you for doing this.
I mean, this is your first fucking show. 9 people are gonna watch.
That's right.
But now,
maybe less.
But now you're gonna have. Do you know what your guests are gonna look like now? You're gonna go and fucking say Gary Vaynerchuk was my first fucking guest. You're gonna get 10 times the quality guests you would have gotten. You're gonna get guest number 4 of this show. Is the quality of the guest that would have been guest 147
right.
just by me allocating these 15 minutes.
And that's, again, an example of giving without expecting in return.
That's right. And if you go on to become Larry King, and I need to promote some shit in 21 years.
Well, you know who has you.
Or not, and this is the key. That'd be great, and I hope so, and surely I think about that. But if you said no through your booker, I would never say. I would say to the Tyler. I would say to my admin. I would say that's some shit. I'd be like fucking motherfucker, like, you know. But I would never be. That would be the extent of it. Would be like that fucking kid. That fucking kid would be nowhere if I didn't do the first fucking which I wouldn't believe, by the way, because if somebody gets somewhere, you might have been part of their path, but I don't. You know.
Right.
Maybe I accelerated it, but we all accelerate each other. Maybe I wouldn't be where I was if Justin didn't make a video. Like, there's a million what ifs. Here's what I would say. For some reason, after about a minute of being like, fuck that kid, I hope his show gets canceled, you know, like competitive shit, I'd be like, maybe he's in a bad place, maybe he's going through a divorce, maybe he forgot, maybe he thinks about it differently than I did. I have empathy, man. Empathy's a powerful drug.
Got it. So you touched on something earlier as a joke, actually. You mentioned you're not Mother Teresa.
Right.
That reminded me of religion. I know you're Jewish, right?
I am.
What role did religion play in your
Zero.
life? Zero.
Religion was outlawed in communist USSR. So for 3 generations, my family did not practice religion. So it's not ingrained in us.
Got it.
I think I'm quite spiritual by nature. I think I probably live
How so?
I think good is good. Like, I think I'm optimistic. I think doing the right thing. I think I probably speak a lot of things with some F-bombs that are probably similar shit that's in the Quran and the Bible and other things. I just don't know a lot about religion. I mean, we'll send our kids to Hebrew school, but if they quit a day later, I'm like, okay, I did too. I mean, I fucking quit Hebrew school before the first class ended. I think I did 6 of them. You know, like, it's not a big part of my life. Meaning, I'm proud to be Jewish, but I think the New York Jets are more my religion. And I think human beings are my religion. I really like us. And the thought of, you know, to me, I'm cliche. Like, I'm scared about all the things religion has done in the other way. I'm happy when your parents die in a car accident that you have a place to go to get better. I hate that people dislike each other based on some bullshit. And that fucks with me. But that's on the person, not on religion. I don't diss on religion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, religion is not a big part of my life.
So stepping back from religion, let's reflect over the years. Let's bring you back to when you were my age, 19.
19.
And you're 42 now, right? So at 19, you probably had some vision of what your life would look like at 42, right?
Yeah.
So how does what has actually happened compare to that vision that you had when you were 19? Are you there? Did you meet it? Did you exceed it?
I don't live in the suburbs.
Okay.
I thought that. I can't see anything else. I knew I'd be successful, like really successful.
And what told you that?
The fact that I was already successful at 19 selling toys and baseball cards. And like, I wish I was documenting my whole life. You know, like people don't know my true story. Meaning, people hear the story, I went into my dad's business and did $3 million. Immediately, when you hear that statement, you're like, Dad put him on. People don't know that I, built my dad's business for him and left Wine Library at 34 with nothing in equity in that company, right? People don't know that, like, I never paid myself that much money. So I had not that much money. People don't know what it looks like to have no money and make $3,000 a weekend pre-internet as a 15-year-old in 1990. That's what I did. With no fucking money, motherfuckers. I went, traded with kids, made good trades, went to a baseball card show, sold some, saved my $80, bought more stuff. It takes talent to make $3,000. You know, 99% of your audience doesn't know how to make $3,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
I did it at 15 with no fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was fucking all time.
From the get.
From the fucking get. You know what I was doing at 19? I was calling my mom at college, crying, saying I don't want to go into the family business even though I want to help, because one day everybody will hold that over me and say that I was given something.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't own anything in Wine Library. Ultimately, I never wanted anything because I don't want anybody to have any excuse not to chase their dream and work fucking hard, because I knew I'd be the greatest example of it of all time, and I didn't want them to have something on me.
Right.
Like, I know we've got 2 minutes. I know you want to get to your modern day and you did green and yellow.
Yes.
I respect it.
Color-coded.
I love it.
Yes.
But you'll have a bunch of other shows. I want people to understand, like, if you're good enough, you will win. Mm-hmm. You have to be patient and you have to put in the work. Mm-hmm. If this show is going to be big, it will be big. Mm-hmm. You just got to put in the work and deploy the patience. Let's go rapid fire round. Go.
Rapid fire round.
Go.
Okay, I'll go straight for the kill.
Yes.
Let's talk legacy.
Yes.
Okay. Death is a difficult conversation.
Yes,
it scares the shit out of you.
Don't want to
really.
die.
You don't want to talk about it?
I'll talk about it. I desperately don't want to die.
So look, you seem like the type of person who wants to be in control of everything,
Yes.
right? So now, if you had the luxury of being able to control when you'd go,
yes.
In a perfect world,
yes.
When would that be? Would it be after you accomplish something, when you're
I could go
in the
tomorrow
right old
from
age?
No. It's not about putting points on the board. That's already done. When I made $100,000 a year, that was my only weird thing on the board. Yes, I want to buy the Jets.
I won.
Yeah. Yes, I want to buy the Jets. But I want to try to buy the Jets more than getting the thrill of the chase. More than right? I just want to live forever. It's fun. The fuck do I want to die for?
You want to be immortal. Right?
Hell yeah, but if you had to put a number on it, I don't know, 9 billion, fine. Maybe I'll get mad when I get up there and said I wish I did 88 billion, but 9 billion's fine.
9 billion's fine. I like
1
that.
minute, Tyler. This is his first show ever. Tyler wants to kill you, by the way.
We're just wrapping up now. So, final question, Gary. Fill in this blank. Gary Vaynerchuk is
the greatest.
The greatest. And with that, we wrap up. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Because Muhammad Ali actually took it, and he deserves it, and it should stay there. Gary Vaynerchuk was the disproportionate best entrepreneur of a generation in helping the other entrepreneurs while he was getting his. Got it? Gary Vaynerchuk
can agree to that.
Was the best entrepreneur in helping other entrepreneurs while getting his. So it doesn't mean I'm going to make the most money. Doesn't mean I'm going to be Elon Musk or, Zucks or, Bezos the most, right? Or the most iconic and change the game, Elon, things like that. Doesn't mean that I was open, just like an author that helped a lot of people or, or Oprah or Tony Robbins, right? I was the best at building the biggest thing and trying to drag everybody with me because I didn't think any of their success came at my expense. Nobody that will look like me ever would ever do this interview.
Right.
Ever.
It's the legacy that you're after.
Ever. You understand?
Yeah.
Nobody who's going to end up as big of a winner as I am would have ever done this interview. That is my legacy.
And with that, we end. Gary, thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much, Gary.
That was good stuff.